Welcome back. It's Courtney from Hawthorne Hill Homeschool, hashtag pretentious homeschool names. And we did a thing last week. I decided a week ago today that we needed to start school. We are year-round homeschoolers, so we do take breaks, but they tend to be a little bit shorter. We don't do a traditional summer break. And we were in the middle of what I expected to be a 6-week break, but it had been 3 weeks and we were done. We needed structure, y'all. So I spent the whole day planning and we dove in and we just completed our first week of school. And now we're getting ready to dive into our second week. And since I had my planner open and was kind of making my plan for the week, I thought I would pull it out and show you guys because I'm getting a lot of questions still about planning. And there are a lot of different aspects of planning. There's making your yearly plan, your semester plan, your monthly plan, and then the weekly plan. And the weekly plan is really where the nitty-gritty details happen. So that's what I'm going to show you today. I'm actually going to just open up my planner and turn this camera around and let you guys take a look. All right, thanks. So this is my planner. This is actually my planner from last year. This was the 2019-2020 Happy Planner Teacher Edition in the classic size. And as you'll see, I have 1 week left. I've ordered the Anna Vance Paper Company planner for this school year, but it has not arrived yet. So I'm just hoping it gets here before the end of this week so that I have one for next week. If not, we will be adding some pages to this or something. But I wanted to just show you how I lay out a week. I will say that I don't have a strict system. I like to change things around. A lot of times I like to make this my subjects and then I will put the days of the week on the top because we are homeschoolers and my husband is a nurse. He works a lot of weekends, so we do not always do our school Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We might take a weekend on Wednesday and Thursday and then work on Saturday and Sunday, or we might do 4 days a week. You know, it really does vary. So I tend to set up my weekly planning pages specifically based on that week and what our needs are. But for right now, I'm gonna go with the Monday through Friday, and we're just gonna make it work this week. The second thing I wanna point out is that I am using color coding. That's one of my favorite ways to organize a planner. And sometimes I will use these highlighters where I'm just making a checkbox. Sometimes I will use colored pens. My oldest son has the green color, my youngest son has the blue color. Purple is for anything we do together, and then pink is specifically for something that I need to do. And we've actually kind of color-coded our whole homeschool this year. So their school supply baskets are green and blue. Their drawers on our rolling cart are green and blue. So we're gonna be green and blue all year long. As far as actually planning a week, you'll notice that there are some things that are filled out in detail and there are some things that are not. And I will get into that as we just go column by column. So the first one, I am keeping track of chores and book basket. And the reason I'm keeping track of those, even though they aren't necessarily school, is because my kids are required every day to finish their schoolwork and their chores and their reading time in order to get screens. So it's easy for me to have this in one place and to know, okay, I checked that he did all of his chores, or okay, I checked that he did all of his chores. Book basket is something we do. It's a little different than morning basket. Morning basket is something where I read to them. Book basket is a separate basket of resources that I put together, usually library books. It can be books they picked out, but I will also pick out things that go along with our curriculum, whatever we're studying. And they read from that, my youngest for 15 minutes a day, my oldest for 30 minutes a day. And that, again, is something that they have to do to have screen time. So I just go through and check that off. Then I've made notes for myself about things we need to discuss. So on Monday, I need to go over the calendar and the days of the week. My youngest keeps mixing up a couple of the days of the week, so we're working on that. And I'm gonna go back over our school routine because this is just our second week back after our very short summer break. And we're still kind of getting into that routine and remembering the things we have to do before screens and those kinds of things. And as the week goes on, I will just make any extra notes that I need to talk about in our meeting. My next column is for morning basket. Again, that's a basket where I read to the kids And you'll see we have poetry, we have King Arthur, we're reading a castle book right now. We're gonna do Story of the Orchestra on Friday for Fine Arts Friday. So I make notes about the specific books that I want to read from, but I do not schedule page numbers or chapters, because we might read one poem, we might read 5. We might read one story from King Arthur, we might read 5. And that's not something I have to micromanage. We just kind of enjoy Book Basket and read as much as we feel like it, honestly. We'll get through it. Then math, I don't pre-plan anything for math except on Fine Arts Friday, because then we don't do our normal math, we don't do our curriculum. Right now we're reading on Fridays the Circumference series. They're little picture books, they're adorable. They're set in King Arthur's court and each one covers a different math topic. And my kids love those. So I just put that in our morning basket and we'll do that on Friday. But as far as the other days, I just don't know what those will look like in advance, because we might have really easy lessons, and one of my kids, my oldest, he will do sometimes 4 or 5 a day. Or he might get stuck on a concept and we might get through half a lesson, and then we might need to take the next day to just work with manipulatives and work on that concept or watch a video about that concept. So those are not pre-planned. I simply will plan from behind and record what we actually accomplished each day. The same goes for language arts. I don't know in advance how much we're going to do in those. Some of my oldest, some of his lessons are quite lengthy. It took us 3 days last week to do one lesson. And my youngest, he got excited and wanted to do 3 weeks worth of sight word ladders in one day. So we did, when we did it all. So I don't ever plan those in advance. It does not work well. I will always end up scratching things out, crossing things out, adding more things. So we just record those from behind. On Friday, I do write down though that we're gonna work in our introduction to poetry book. The next column is for our focus. If you saw my video on our routines and our block scheduling, you know that we block our schedule. And this week is going to be a very heavy history week for us because it's knights and castles and that's so fun. So we are diving deep into history this week. On science, our Monday science, I know that we're going to read aloud from our Wonders book, but then I left this blank because again, we like to be a little interest-led in science. So we might watch a YouTube video, we might go on a nature walk, we might read a different book. So I like to leave space to just record wherever this takes us. I know that we will crack open geodes and that we will journal. So I put those 2 things down. On history, I'm able at this point to really schedule pretty much exactly what we're going to do. So those are scheduled pretty in depth. And then on Fridays, I know that we will read from Why is Art Full of Naked People? And then we will do our draw and write through history. Now, one note on these, because I don't like scratching things out, but if, for example, someone got sick or we had to take a day off or we just didn't get through as much, I would just write a little arrow in this to let me know I need to move it to the next week or to the next day or whatever we need to do. On our specials column, I keep track of our appointments. So I have a child in speech therapy. And then twice a week we do typing and twice a week we do handwriting. And then I just make little notes for myself in this column about what I need to do. I need to make copies of student sheets this week and I need to meal prep. So this is very simple. It doesn't even have to be this complicated. You can plan everything from behind and just record what you do each day, which is what I did in the beginning of our homeschooling, and it worked great. Or you can detail plan everything out. But if you're OCD like me and you don't like crossing things out and rewriting them, you might not want to do that. Give yourself a little grace as you figure out what works for you. All right, guys, I hope it helped to see a plan laid out like that and to kind of see what my process is when I'm planning our week and what to do if something goes wrong and you need to move something to a different week, which will happen a lot. Welcome to homeschooling. Life is unpredictable. Anyway, I do hope that helped. If you have any other questions, send me a message, leave a comment. Thanks so much.